Kirby, congrats, man. 400 episodes is insane. 400 episodes, one a week, that's nuts. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. So here's a question for you. I know you've probably learned a whole lot from all of the different guests that you've had on over the years, but what's the biggest lesson that you've learned yourself just by doing this? So by doing 400 of these, what's the biggest takeaway? Like, what have you learned through this process? Let's take consistency out of it because we know you're the most consistent content maker there is. But what's the biggest thing you've learned, aside from consistency, from nailing 400 of these? Thanks, man.
Okay, so the funny thing about this is I'm listening to Josh's question the first time, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to answer that consistency. That's the most important thing. So he cut me off at the knees there. So thanks, Josh. But I really do think that one of the biggest lessons is showing up every single day. When in doubt, do one more. Couple other lessons that I think I've taken away from doing this exercise over 8 years. When it comes to content, it's not what you can create, it's what you can recreate. I think so many times someone has an interest in doing a podcast or a video or something like that, and they throw their heart and soul into it, and they do an amazing first episode, but they created something that is really hard to do a second time. And so then they do it maybe a second or a third time, and then they run out of gas. If you look at the history of delivering marketing joy, I've created something that is fairly easy to recreate. There's an open that's always the same for the most part. Then I do the interview. Then there's an outro. I do a specific number of questions. The point being, it's something that I can do on a consistent basis and keep it going. So it's not what you can create, it's what you can recreate. The other thing is, if you want to do something over time, you want to use tools to make your life easier. So, this is a rule it took me 300 episodes to learn. I did it for 300 episodes. I individually scheduled every single guest, and that was really hard. It became coming up with questions and scheduling the guests was harder than all the other stuff combined. Finally decided to listen to the advice of some other smart people, and I started using Calendly to schedule those interviews. And now I'm booked way ahead. Using that tool has made my life easier. So those are the answers I had kind of queued up for you, Josh. But as I was listening to the question again just now, I think the other big lesson I've learned is really from Seth Godin, where he talks about the difference between brand marketing and direct marketing. Okay. And I've talked about this some on here, but I think when I first started this show, thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. When I first started this show, people would ask me, what do you hope to gain from it? And I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I understood exactly what I hoped would happen. I just felt like it was the right thing to do. And then people would say, well, but you're doing this. How are you selling more t-shirts? And how are you getting an ROI on this? And I never knew the answer to that. And I think Seth Godin talks about this, where there's brand marketing, which is your Super Bowl ad, right? That's nobody's leaving the Super Bowl when they see a Coca-Cola commercial to run out and buy more Coca-Cola. They just hope that you are top of mind. They keep you top of mind when you're out there. And then direct marketing is that where you send out an email, they click on the link and buy from you. They're different. Both are important. Both are powerful, but you can't measure them the same way. And so what I would say to you is this particular exercise is brand marketing, right? People still buy from people they like, know, and trust. Content done right, when you are giving over and over again, it puts you top of mind in the eyes of your customers. And that always plays well if you're playing a long game.